you probably talking about the season.
The zebra.
The seasons, you
Oh,
talk
the
about that. And as you were saying that, a thought occurred to me, you know, with each passing season, we have seasons in our lives, and
Yeah.
how we choose to overcome the things that come throughout the season.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It just kind of,
Well, it's just like this season of COVID. Eventually, we will get through this. Right now, I mean, this past summer, even though summer, it was wintertime with the COVID and fall and you know, being quarantined or not being able to gather the way we normally would and such. You know, that's the winter of this season. But we got spring coming right around the corner, and it's going to be so much better. So yeah,
you too will pass.
yeah, this too shall pass. Yeah. Mark Lowry, Mark Lowry, he says his most favorite verse in the Bible is, "And it came to pass." This came and it will pass. So, just like you just said, this too shall pass. All righty, we are in Revelation chapter 21, I believe, correct? Is that right? You made it all the way to 21. Oh my goodness, we're almost to the end. What to do? Guys, I want you all to give me some suggestions of where you would like to go from here. I would like to go into the Old Testament. We've got different, we could go to Genesis, we could go to Ruth, we could maybe go to 1st, 2nd Samuel if y'all wanted to. But y'all give me some suggestions and we'll kind of go with the majority if we get a couple of you. So, where you would like to go. Habakkuk. We could go to Habakkuk if you want. Anything like that. So anyway, you guys think about it, pray about it, and then just give me some suggestions of where you would like to go. But right now, Revelation 21, and I believe, did we get all the way into verse 4, 5, 9? We moved on. All right. Now, just a reminder, there in verse 1 and 2, that John writes, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." I heard Pastor Chuck Smith talking today that God made everything, all the way down to the atoms. And the atoms have smaller particles, the protons and the neutrons and the electrons and the atom or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what all is in it, but he makes everything, and inside that atom, they're opposites. What is it? The protons and the neutrons, or electrons, or whatever it is, they're opposites, and they're constantly fighting each other, but inside of that atom holds everything together. The nuclei of that atom, or whatever it is, that holds everything together. But at this point, God is going to turn his face away from the earth, and the earth itself is just going to explode, be destroyed. It's going to just go away. The Bible says that all things shall pass away. Behold, all things shall be new. So does this mean that the earth that we know of as of right now is gone? I don't know. I guess. I believe so. The earth that we have, that we know of right now, that we see every day, that's going to be gone. Because everything has been affected by sin. Whether it be the creeks, whether it be the trees, whether it be the bugs, the air, it's all been affected by sin. So the earth that we know of as of right now is going to be gone. Completely burned up, destroyed, exploded. Maybe the earth itself is going to be completely exploded. And God's going to put a new earth over here. Maybe the volcanoes are going to explode and burn everything down, and then and God says, okay, we're going to start over brand spanking new, and makes everything brand new. The earth, the air that we breathe, perfect. It would be the freshest air on a crisp spring morning. The day is going to get up into 70s, but that first thing in the morning, it's in the early, 40s, maybe mid 40s, first thing in the morning. That crispness, but it's fresh. You can smell some of the blooms in the air, and the birds are chirping, and that's the way that this newness is going to be. It's going to be so much better because we won't have the touch of sin on this earth. And it's hard for us to understand because we've only known this earth as it is. We've never known the earth or the sky or the air or the water without being touched by sin. So when he says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. He kind of told the fishermen, sorry guys, there's no more sea. There's no more going out there and surfing in the sea and going out and fishing in the sea but I believe that no more sea is that we're not going to have to worry about it. What does the oceans do for us? It divides us. Yeah. It divides the earth up, the continents up. So I believe that's what it's going to be. We're no longer going to have that division. That's my opinion. That's the way I feel. Does the Bible actually say that? Well, not exactly. It says the earth's going to be, we'll have a new earth. We may have same continents, maybe different continents, because the way the volcanoes explode and plate tectonics or whatever, they move around and such. It may be completely different. We may go back to that. Was it Pangea? We may go back to that. I don't know. But the thing is, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be brand new, and it's not going to be affected by sin. And it says there, verse 3, I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Who is this tabernacle?
Jesus.
This is Jesus. Jesus. Yeah, he tabernacles with us. He's living with us. He's going to be here with us on the earth. All right? Now, and let's go ahead and we'll go down to... we know it's Jesus because there in verse 6, he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. Right here, we are called the child of God. Right here, all of us that believe in Jesus, that have put our faith and trust in Jesus, we are called a child of God. Right here we see the heavenly throne as Jesus descends onto the new earth. He says that he is tabernacled here. His throne will be here on the earth. We will be able to go to the throne of God. Just stand before him and see him, talk to him, face to face. Now, right there it says there in the latter part of verse 6, it says that he will give us of the fountain of the water of life freely. Where else did Jesus talk about the fountain of water or the water of life? Do you all remember? Do you all remember?
When he talked to the woman at the well?
Yes. When he talked to the woman at the well, the woman come up and he said, give me to drink, give me something to drink. And she was like, well, what are you talking to me? And he said, this water that you're getting ready to drink, you're going to have to come back and get some more water. But if you would ask, if only you would ask for the water that I give it freely. And that it is everlasting water that will flow freely inside of you. This is what Jesus is giving here, is the water of life. The water of continuously. We sing that song, deep and wide, and that fountain flowing deep and wide. That's what God's going to give to us, is that fountain inside of us that is going to flow freely, giving us life and eternal life. He that overcometh inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. He that overcometh. Who are the ones that's going to overcome? Those that are saved, right? Those of us that put our faith and trust in Jesus. Will there be any of those that don't believe in Jesus or don't put their faith in Jesus still on the earth? No. All that's going to be wiped away. All of those that are unsaved, that are not saved, we see before there in verse 20, or chapter 20, is that they stand before the great white throne judgment, and then they are thrown into the lake of fire. So only the people on the earth will be the ones that are saved. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Now verse 9. And there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the 7 vials of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Now, before we get going much further, there is debate on how this holy city is going to be. We'll talk about the size of the city here in just a minute. The foundations, the walls, the gates, and the such. But a lot of, I say a lot, I ain't going to say it ain't 50-50, it ain't 30-70, it ain't 80-40. You know.
That's 120.
Right. Different commentators say that the Holy Jerusalem will come to the earth on the earth. Okay? And other commentators believe that the earth is going to be like the new Jerusalem is going to be like a satellite to the earth. It's going to be like a cube, but it's going to have its own atmosphere, like inside of a sphere, inside of a ball. But I don't understand how the Jewish people will be able to get to and from the city, if you put it that way. But why couldn't they? I mean, God could say, okay, when you all want to go to the city, you want to worship Jesus, you want to visit Jesus, then you just think it and go to the city. But why would Jesus do that? So anyway, these are questions that run through my head. Why would it be up there? But why couldn't it be up there like a moon in the sky, giving off the light for the earth, like our sun does? Because we will no longer need a sun. We will no longer need a moon, because the light that Jesus gives out will be the light of the world. Will shine the light on the world, and will be the warmth and give life unto the world, unto the new earth. So it very well could be that the New Jerusalem is in the sky. So what I'm trying to say is, if you believe that the New Jerusalem is going to come to the earth and land on the earth and be on the earth, on the ground itself, awesome. But if you think it's going to be up in the sky like a moon, like a satellite away from the earth, awesome. The Bible doesn't make it clear. So we can't really argue or say either way, because the Bible doesn't make it clear how it's going to be. All we know is it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be unlike anything that we have ever seen. It's going to be more glorious than anything we could ever imagine. Why? Because God is making it. And it's making it to glorify, He is making it to glorify His Son. So if God made the earth and put us on the earth, how much more of a city, how much more beautiful and glorious will that city be where Jesus will be, where He will tabernacle, where His throne will be? How much more wonderful that will be. So let's read about this city. Let's see. Verse 10, and He carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, showed me that great city, the whole Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Verse 11, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. This jasper stone, they said the jasper stone is like in the Old Testament, which is more like a sinnet, I think it is, which is probably going to be like a diamond. Now, we think of jasper. What do you think of the color of jasper is when we think jasper stone? Kind of a greenish stone is what I would think of. But this, J. Vernon McGee and Pastor Chuck Smith said that this jasper should have been like a zenith, but the same word could go either way. But they both believe that this is going to be more like a diamond. What does a diamond do with light? It refracts it, it reflects it, it glorifies the light, doesn't it? It takes the light and it sparkles. I mean, that's what the stone is for, is to take the light and make it sparkle. So to me, that makes sense that it could be a diamond, because the light that John sees here is just beautiful. I mean, the colors that are coming off of this light from the light of Jesus. Jesus is the light. So this diamond just reflects the light even more, and refracts the light and reflects the light, and it's just beautiful. Now, I'm going to say that it's beautiful. Don't count how many times I say it, okay? Because I'm going to say it 100 times or more. And you can't say by say anyway, but it's going to be beautiful. This city is just going to be more wonderful. All right, let's keep going here. And verse 12, and had a great wall and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Now, these angels, are these actual angels, like spirit angels, like Gabriel and Michael? Or is this angels like messenger angels? Could be either one. Probably messenger angels giving the message of what's going on in the city as you enter into the gates, or it could be angels that are watching the gates, not allowing, because you'll see a little bit later, that nothing impure will be able to enter into the gates of the city. Okay? All right. Verse 13, and on the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, on the west 3 gates. All right, so if it's 3 on each side, how many gates we got? North, south, east, west. 12 gates, right? Okay, 12 gates. 12 tribes of the children of Israel is written on each gate. Verse 14, and the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. You all know the names of all 12 disciples? Yeah, I don't know. Now, I do believe that there are 11 apostles, and there was one that was added. Do you all remember his name? Matthias. Remember, they threw lots to see who was going to take the place of Judas Iscariot, since he killed himself. I don't believe Matthias' his name is here. I don't believe his name's here because Jesus didn't choose him. Who's the last apostle that Jesus chose? Paul, the Apostle Paul. So I believe the Apostle Paul's name is going to be the number 12th apostle, because he even himself said he was born out of due time. And the way Jesus chose him, the way Jesus gave him in his heart to go out into the world and preach the gospel and suffer in his name, I truly believe that the number 12 is going to be the Apostle Paul, not Matthias. So anyway, just a little information there. Verse 14, the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and then the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Verse 15, and he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. Or it's laid out like a square or a cube. Okay? So the city itself is going to be like a cube. It's going to have walls, it's going to have foundations, and it's going to be square or a equal cube. You all know what a furlong is. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I'll tell you what the number that it is. 12,000 furlongs is going to be about 1,500 square miles. 1,500 miles. So it's going to be 15 miles long, 15 miles wide, 1,500. Yes. 1,500 miles long, 1,500 miles wide, 1,500 miles high. It's going to be a huge city. Do you all realize that's bigger than the size of Texas? The size of the city. One city will be bigger than the size of Texas. That is awesome. I mean, that is just awesome to think of a city that God has created that is descending from heaven to the earth. All right, verse 17. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of man, that is, of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was jasper. Let's stop here for just a second. Just the first floor of this celestial city would cover over half the United States, reaching from Canada to Mexico, from New York to Colorado. It would cover Europe from England to Moscow, and Finland to Greece. No one knows whether it ascends up this great height as a cube, pyramid, or some other shape. That was what I was wanting to get to. Some people believe that it's going to be like a pyramid, kind of like the great pyramids that you see in Egypt. Some believe it's going to be a pyramid. Some believe it's going to be a cube. I believe it's going to be a cube. That's just my belief. If you won't believe it's a pyramid, that's okay. You can be wrong, but you can believe what no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, it could be a cube. It could be a pyramid. It could be it's not going to be a rectangle, because a rectangle is not equal on each side, right? You don't know. Don't ask me this. I don't know this. Okay. All right. Verse 18. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold like unto clear glass. Now, let's see, let me get back to that. Get too far ahead myself. Okay. The building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold like unto clear glass. Now, the building of it was like jasper. Now, remember earlier I said that jasper, this jasper could be, I think it's a centieth. It's like a diamond. It would look like a diamond. Could you imagine the walls of a city that are 144 cubits thick, but they look like a diamond? They're built with diamonds? Or are they built with jewels that look like diamonds? I mean, we think that diamonds are precious and they're awesome, and a diamond is forever. Well, I guess so. The Lord's using them to build the walls with here. And the streets made of gold, like into clear glass. And the city was pure gold. Everything inside. The houses that are built inside, made of gold. That is awesome. And the good thing about that is, we don't have to worry about cleaning the gold and polishing it up or anything like that. It's going to shine and shine and shine. Everything inside of this is going to be beautiful. How many times did I say it?
About 12, 13.
About 12, 13 now. Verse 19, and the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper. The second, sapphire. What color is the sapphire? It's blue. The third, a chalcedony. That's believed to be a green. It's going to be a kind of an off-shade green, maybe a leaf green, not necessarily a jasper-looking green. The fourth, an emerald. What's the color of an emerald? It's more of a darker, deeper green. The fifth, sardonyx. This is going to be more like an ocean green. The sixth, sardius. What's a sardius? Or sardius stone. It's going to be more of like a red. The seventh, chrysolite. My mouse not want to work today. What's a chrysolite? It's more of a clear, isn't it? The chrysolite stone, more of a clear. The eighth, a beryl stone. The ninth, a topaz. The 10th, a chrysoprasus. The 11th, a jacinth. The 12th, an amethyst. We don't have to go through all the colors of the stones, but what he's trying to say is the foundations of this city is made out of precious stones, or what we would think to be precious stones. You know what I think it is? God is just showing off. He says everything that you think is precious and is awesome and monetarily valued, we're going to use it for building blocks. We're going to use it to build the city. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to shine. It's going to shimmer. You're going to walk in and have, and your eyes are going to have to adjust. And then you look around. Wow, look at the gold. Look at the precious stones. Look at the beauty. And all, what do stones do? Stones are just precious stones, an amethyst, a diamond, a beryl, or these sapphires. They're no good in the dark, are they? You put light on them. Why do you think you go into a jewelry store and it's bright? I mean, just bright as can be, and those cases are lit up brightly onto the jewels and rings inside, because the stones reflect and shine from the light. In the dark, they're no good, right? But in the light, they shine. The light is Jesus. And in this city, all of this is going to shine but it's going to be because of Him. All of this is beautiful. All of this is wonderful. All of this shines and is glorious. But it's all because of Jesus. All right? Verse 21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. I'd hate to see the oyster makes these pearls. 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. We've never seen gold like that. We've never seen gold that pure. I mean, everything that we have that is gold, a necklace, a chain, or whatever, still has that tint or the hint or the touch of sin of this earth. Not this. Perfect. Beautiful. Verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. Meaning, there's not going to be a building to have to go to. There's not going to be a certain place that everybody, okay, we have to go to this building. No, we go to Jesus. We go to where He's at. You know what I think Jesus is going to be like He did when He was here on the earth? He's going to travel around. He's going to walk around. He's going to be, look at this. Isn't that just beautiful? And everybody's going to just be with Him, and they're going to say, wow, did you put that there? Yeah, I put that there. Remember, He said, I go to prepare a place for you. Jesus is preparing this place for us to enjoy. Verse 23, and the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. It's going to be hard for us to understand no sun, no moon. Did y'all see the moon today? It was out during the day again today. That is so weird. See the moon and the sun out at the same time. I got a question for you. Haley and I debated. If we can see the moon during the day here, what about the ones that are at nighttime? Do they have a moon?
Yeah, it's just a different angle.
Just different angle?
What's your Google?
Hmm?
What's your Google?
Well, I have Google. Not right now. I'm asking y'all. She is full of herself today. Anyway, and the nations of them,
She is my daughter.
24, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. Of what? The light of Jesus. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. That is going to be awesome. We don't have to worry about going to sleep. We're not going to get tired. We're not going to get needing sleep, because our bodies are not going to need to be rejuvenated at night. That's what sleep does. It helps your cells repair itself, and your body rejuvenates overnight. We're not going to need that, because we're going to have the light of the world. We're going to have the light of Jesus and the fountain of life that flows freely inside of us. We're not going to need all this. But did you catch that little thing right there where it says, right there in verse 24, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. Now, is there going to be unsaved people here? No, I don't think so. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. What does that mean by the kings of the earth? Does that mean there's going to be nations set up on the earth again? I think so. I mean, what's to stop God from setting up nations on the earth? Because we, the church, are going to be ruling and reigning with Jesus. So on the earth, if we, the church, are in the New Jerusalem, then we will be ruling and reigning. Who are we going to rule and reign over with Jesus? It'll be those that are on the earth. So where does this come from? Who are these people that are on the earth?
Aren't they the people that got saved while during the tribulation period?
Yes.
That didn't go to heaven?
Right. Either made it through the tribulation period into the millennial reign, got saved and made it into the millennial reign, or got saved, like you said, during the tribulation period, may have died, but they're not part of the church. So those that get saved after the rapture are not actually considered part of the church. Because from the time Jesus ascended into heaven until the rapture, that's the church age. So I think you're right. I think it's going to be those that got saved during the tribulation period that either died, were martyred, or those that made it through into the millennial reign. Those are the ones. And I think those are the ones that will be on the earth that we will rule and reign over.
So where is the church?
The church is the bride. And where are they? Right at this point in time, we're in the New Jerusalem, walking with Jesus. Serving. Well, we will be able to come to and from the New Jerusalem to the earth, back and forth.
But we have a new heaven. So that was Jeffrey and I was trying to discuss. I said, I'm going to be in the new heaven. There you go.
Well, the thing is, it literally will be heaven on earth. Because where Jesus is where heaven is. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if Jesus is on the earth, that's where heaven is. If Jesus is in the heaven where he is right now, that's where heaven is. So, the hard thing is going to be for us to understand right now, and to get your mind to kind of grasp or wrap around, is the spirit world and the world that we live in right now are going to come together. Does that make sense? Kind of. Because the spirit world is where God is, where Jesus is right now. And that world, the heaven, is going to become part of the earth as kind of like we know it right now. It's not going to be the same, but it's going to be the physical world. So we as a church are going to be able to go to and from the spirit world to the physical world, spirit world, or the New Jerusalem with Jesus to the earth itself, back and forth, like Jesus did. Remember, Jesus, at 1 second, he was with the 5,000 meeting, they saw him and met him after he rose again. The very next second, he's in the upper room with the disciples, and then he vanished and he's gone somewhere else, and all of a sudden he's back with Thomas and showing Thomas his hands, and then he disappears again. So he has the flesh, he has the body, but it's the perfected body, and he has the ability to, I guess, think, I want to be here, and he's there. He doesn't have to go through doors. So that's where that kind of, with the satellite Jerusalem, would be kind of come into effect if we were able to come to and from the Jerusalem to the earth. We as a church would be able to do that. Those of us serving Jesus here on the earth, we would be able to do that. We'd be able to come to and from. But those that don't have that, and I believe it's going to be the kings of the earth who bring the glory and honor into it, I don't know how they're going to get to and from unless we take them. So there's a whole lot of, I don't know, maybe what if type deals.
They won't get a new body like we got, right?
I don't know. The Bible doesn't clarify that.
Because don't they have children and the sin starts again
Well, that's from through the millennial reign.
through this 1,000 years?
We're outside the 1,000-year reign now. At this point, chapter 21 is outside the 1,000-year reign. Once the great white throne judgment takes place, the 1,000-year reign stops. The millennial reign stops. So now, chapter 21 is we're in eternity now. This is the start of eternity. So, do they have children? The Bible doesn't clarify that. Do they have a new body? The Bible doesn't clarify that. I'm not trying to blow you off, or the Bible just does not say. Now, who are we to say that God doesn't start a whole new earth, race, just like he did from the beginning that we know of with Adam? But this is going to be a perfect race of people. Could they sin? Could they fall? Could they fail? I don't think so. No. Because God takes sin and death and throws them into the lake of fire. So I don't believe that if let's say there's 5 billion people that make it through to eternity, but they don't have the new body like we've got. They could have children, and those children have children, and those children have children, but the curse has been removed. What was the curse that was placed on women, on Eve?
Painful childbirth.
Painful childbirth. That curse is removed. So no longer we have painful childbirth. Also, the death is gone. So you don't have to worry about growing old. It talks a little bit later, it talks about we'll get to it, but it's right there in verse 2, in the midst of the street and on either side of the river was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. So that kind of gives me the idea that there's going to be flesh and blood on the earth, and there's going to be people that we as a church will have to rule and reign. I'd like to take Hawaii if it ain't already taken. But there'll be people on the earth that we will have to rule and reign over, but it's not going to be like, do what I tell you to do type ruling and reigning. It's going to be just making sure their needs are met, that they are taken care of. I believe we will be taking them possibly to and from Jerusalem, from their home to Jerusalem, the New Jerusalem, and back, so they can get these leaves for the healings of their bodies, of their families. These fruits, they will be able to eat of this tree of life. Right here, the tree of life which bear 12 manner of fruits. So if they eat of the tree of life, remember the tree that Adam and Eve were able to eat of the tree of life. But God told them not to eat of the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil. Right. And God kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, so they didn't eat of the tree of life. Why?
Because they were going to live forever.
In sin. Right. And God didn't want that. God wanted to spare Adam and Eve, all mankind, from this. So, but now there will be no sin, so they'll be able to eat from the tree of life. All right? All right, guys. That is 8 o'clock. Let's see. It's right at 8. Verse 25, the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. See, this is where I believe that we will be bringing the people of the earth into the New Jerusalem to celebrate Jesus, to walk with Jesus, to be able to eat from this tree of life, to get the leaves for their healing. All right, verse 27, there shall be in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination, or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. The only people that's going to be able to enter in. So does that mean that there could be some abomination? There could be lies? There could be? I don't think so. Now, I'm not going to argue either way because the Bible doesn't truly clarify. But I don't think so, because God takes sin and death and throws it into the lake of fire. The curse is gone. So I believe all of that is going to be gone. There will be no lie. There will be no abomination. There will be no anything that is defiled, because there's nothing here to defile us. There's nothing here to draw us away from Jesus. But because of their physical bodies, they'll still need to be rejuvenated. And they'll get rejuvenated by going into the New Jerusalem, being with Jesus, receiving the light that He gives, and eating of the fruit of life. And it's going to be awesome. Do we understand it? No. I mean, at one time I thought that the New Jerusalem was going to be just for the Jewish people. But right here it makes it clear that it's for those that are written in their Lamb's book of life. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. So I believe the church, it also says there in verse 9, I will show thee the bride and the Lamb's wife. And He carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the whole Jerusalem, descending out of the heaven from God. So I believe that this city is going to be for the bride. This is the bride's wedding gift. This is the bride's city. This is the bride's home. Jesus said, in my Father's house there are many mansions. Or it could be said, there are many rooms in my Father's house. Jesus is there, and He's building this right now. How glorious is it going to be? Awesome, awesome. All right, we will start chapter 22 next week and possibly finish it. Maybe. That's 21 verses. We don't usually go that fast to it. It's okay. All right, guys, if you will, bow with me for a word prayer. David, would you mind closing us out with a word?
Heavenly Father God, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for your blessings that you've given us. Lord, thank you for the ability, Lord, to be able to come to you and to ask for forgiveness for things that we've done and we've done wrong, Lord. And the fact that you've told us many times that you will give us that forgiveness because of your spilled blood.
Yeah.
Lord, I know that I'm unworthy for your death on the cross, Lord, for the beatings that you took and the things that you've had done to you, Lord, that you will. We know that you did all this for us because you first loved us before we even knew you. Lord, thank you for that. Thank you again for what you're telling us here in the book of Revelations, Lord, for the pastor and the way that he's bringing it to us, Lord, that you've given him. Lord, I ask that you continue to help us to soak it in and to be able to understand it as we go home and talk it over amongst ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord, to do as we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go back and read your word and to look over it and to learn from it and to study it, Lord, so we know that it's right, it's true. Lord, I ask now that you look after us the rest of this week. Lord, give us the strength to endure and to be able to help others. Thanks again for all that you do. In Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna be like a Cinderella's fairy godmother. Here's the jewels for you, here's the house for you.
Nice, nice.